welcome. Good afternoon. Vanakkam. You're joining us live on the special edition of So South. I'm Akshata Nandagopal. And yes, our focus is on the political Game of Thrones playing out right now in Tamil Nadu. I'm outside the Lok Bhavan here. And so all the action is expected to play out across Chennai today. In the next few hours, by this evening, hopefully the picture will get clear. This is playing out like a Tamil Nadu political thriller, the likes of which Vijay has never seen. He's never read a script quite like this, which will explain why the TVK right now is in an absolute tizzy. While he waits, Vijay waits for the VCK and left to decide what they really want to do. There's still talk now of the DIK and AIADMK firming up a plan that could throw a spanner in the works. Will we see Vijay become the Talapati of Tamil Nadu? Or will it just be a distant dream for him, courtesy the DMK and AIADMK? We're getting you all the action from the ground. I have my colleagues Pramod Madhav, Anaga Keshav, Apurva Jayachandran, Sagar Raj joining me live on this edition of So South. This is the best Tamil Nadu team there is. And you can trust us to get you every single update that comes in from every single location of Chennai. Big political updates coming in. Before I take this across to our reporters, we begin with a breaking update coming in.
Joseph Vijay.
Okay, here's what we're picking up from our sources. There have been so many questions on just one aspect that seals the deal for TVK. Is the VCK, is the left on board? Here's what we're hearing from our sources, that the VCK is more or less convinced that they want to go with Vijay, that they want to support the TVK. But they're waiting for the left parties to decide. They will travel together, and this is what I've been saying constantly, that there's no scenario in which the VCK will move in one direction and the left will move in the other direction. Those 6 seats are a package deal. Either the TVK gets them or they don't. There's no 2 from VCK going towards the TVK and then the rest remaining and the left remaining with the DMK. They will move in one direction together. And reportedly the VCK is for the alliance, but once the left decides, that's when we'll get some clarity. This evening, there is a meeting that the VCK is holding. There's also a meeting that the left is holding. And then that will give us a sense of exactly what's going to happen come tomorrow. Remember, the TVK was counting on having a swearing-in tomorrow. Looks very unlikely that that will happen. Maybe pushed to Sunday, maybe pushed to Monday. But it's all dependent on one factor. The VCK, the left. With 2 seats, the VCK, and the left with 4 seats. Imagine this. The Tamil Nadu political theatres playing out in such a way that they have now become the kingmakers. Listen in to Tol Tirumavallavan.
Today evening, we have Zoom meeting with high-level committee members. We are going to discuss the current political scenario and we will decide what is our stand in this. As well as we are still with the DMK-headed alliance relations, how we are going to maintain or continue. So all these things will be taken up in this discussion. Then only we can decide and inform you later.
So all eyes now on the VCK on the left. This evening is their meeting, so let's say a decision comes in by this evening. And let's speculate that that decision is in favor of the TVK. Then they have to seek a meeting with the governor. Once that meeting with the governor happens, then you could see movement happening. Pramod Madhav, Sagar Raj live with us. We'll get Apurva and Anaga with us in just a bit as well. But Pramod, to you first. The VCK leaning towards the TVK is a good sign for Vijay, but ultimate decision to be taken this evening. And yes, as we've been highlighting, there's no one without the other. The VCK and left will decide together. Does the left right now, Pramod, have any reservations against joining hands with Vijay, with the TVK? Could they throw a spanner in the works for Vijay?
Akshita, the biggest reservation the left parties have right now, that is the CPM and CPIM, is that they actually fought with the DMK alliance over here. So if they need to do that categorically, they have to change a lot of things, in their documentations and such. So that seems to be the biggest issue. And the second thing is that, like, each and every person who is having a representation within the party, they will have to give their opinion. So stating like what is going to happen, because earlier itself, very clearly, even though the left, CPI, CPM and VCK are claiming that Vijay should actually be made the chief minister, he should be called to form the government and the governor should call him. We are also, certain leaders are also questioning why Vijay has not said anything about this particular issue. In fact, just now we returned from the Congress protest where we also saw Girish Chodanka. Girish Chodanka was extremely angry. He was talking how communal forces are they. He says that Congress decided to go along with TVK just to make sure communal forces do not come to power over here. But even Girish claims that the VCK, CPI and CPIM have been fighting against the RSS and BJP, and they will definitely, he said that he's very confident they'll move towards him. But still, CPI, CPM have yet to make the decision, and Tirumavalavan, who could very clearly have given a mandate today morning or by afternoon, he says that again another meeting will be held by 5 p.m, an online meeting, only after which he will decide, the decision will be made, and tomorrow the announcement will be made, Akshita.
Okay, so as we get you that breaking update, so you're telling us, Pramod, that the next 24 hours we should get a sense of which way this is going. But ultimately, right now, Vijay has to be on wait and watch mode. Will the VCK be convinced? Will the left be convinced? Remember, and I've said this repeatedly, there's no plan B that the VCK, that the TVK has. And so they're completely reliant on these two parties, these two small parties who are the kingmakers. Let's get you more breaking news that's coming in right now. The VCK General Secretary, speaking out to the media, has suggested that they're a little upset with how the TVK approached reaching out for support. Now, Vijay didn't come in person, and the VCK says that their invite actually came via WhatsApp, that the letter seeking support was sent via WhatsApp, and that's got the VCK quite upset. The VCK General Secretary has expressed grievances about the TVK's conduct post-results. He says essentially that at this point, Vijay should have come. The fact that the letter was sent via WhatsApp is what's upset him.
On behalf of VCK also, we expressed our stand that governor should not behave like this. He has to discharge his legal duties. Already we criticized the approaches of our governor.
So that's the comment that's coming from VCK. I want to switch across now to Anaga Keshav. She's been tracking the latest updates of the VCK and the left. Anaga, those crucial meetings taking place this evening, so a decision finally will come in tonight. But what are you picking up from your sources? Is there a possibility of the VCK and the left joining hands with TVK or no? Because what's really led to all of the speculation is that meeting with Stalin yesterday. And after that meeting with Stalin, even post that no announcement saying we've decided this or that. So is it just a question of formality that we're seeing a meeting today, or is the VCK and the left still undecided?
Well, in fact, any way the decision goes, there is one thing that's clear, that is that the VCK and the left parties will go as a block. There is no shift. If the left decides to go with Vijay, then VCK will also follow suit. But if the left parties drop that plan, then VCK would not be going either. So that is quite real. But looks like the decision is getting pushed. The left parties might make an announcement tonight, but VCK has stated that they would announce their decision tomorrow morning. So by tonight, we'll really get to know what the left has to say, and that will also unofficially confirm for us what the VCK has to say. But officially, we need to wait till tomorrow morning or latest by afternoon to really get a clearer picture about if Vijay will really get that 118 mandate. The discussions are underway. There are about 19 members in the left party. That is the count of the body members, and for every single decision, there is a day-long meeting that takes place. It's currently underway, and by tonight, it's quite likely that we'll get clarity about what the left really wants to do.
And so we'll have to see, if Vijay doesn't get that support, then he is definitely in a spot of trouble. He doesn't have the numbers, which is where the question will come up on whether he jumped the gun on a Congress alliance. If it works out, then great. He's planned it exactly how he wanted. He was confident of VCK left support and he's gotten it. But let me explain to you the other aspect of this. Amid this political deadlock, there seems to be another development that's got everyone talking. The buzz of a DMK-AIA-DMK alliance, is that actually happening? There is talks. We can confirm that for you. Have the talks led to an alliance, firming up of an alliance? Not really. It's still at a stage where things are still being discussed. It's all a bit up in the air. There's a lot of speculation because it will come down to whether TVK has the numbers or not. The moment TVK doesn't have the numbers, the VCK and left say we're not supporting you, then this particular parties, the DMK and AIA-DMK, will join, become one block. All the differences forgotten. How is this happening? Here's what we're hearing. The inside scoop is right here on India Today, that there was actually a conversation between TVK and the AIA-DMK. This was early on, when you had TVK's Arun Raj reaching out to the AIA-DMK. The AIA-DMK also was keen. In a sense, they said, okay, let's explore this. Let's have a conversation, figure out where exactly this is going. Is this something that will benefit us? But then there was no conversation from Vijay. Vijay didn't speak to any of them, and that seems to be the golden rule of the TVK, that Vijay won't get involved in any of these conversations. And then the back channel talks suddenly stopped. TVK went cold, so the AIA-DMK assumed that there's no question of an alliance, that TVK wants to go solo. And so the communication lines between the AIA-DMK and TVK got cut there. Enter the BJP. Reportedly, it's the BJP that decided that DMK and AIA-DMK should consider joining hands. Imagine this. This is the situation that BJP reportedly stepped in. Let's get you now a news break also that's coming in, a reaction from the Congress on these reports of a DMK-AIA-DMK alliance. The Congress is hit out saying, how can an enemy and an enemy be friends? The enemy of the enemy is a friend. Historical mistake. Tamil Nadu will never accept it. This is what Congress MP Jyothimani has said. She's joining us on this broadcast. Ma'am, good afternoon. Everything's going down in Tamil Nadu. You've joined hands with the TVK and now suddenly there's buzz of a DMK-AIA-DMK alliance. What do you have to say about that, ma'am?
See, what governor is doing is not only unfair, it's unconstitutional. TVK Chief Minister Vijay has emerged as a single largest party. No other coalition party has a stake claim because he's the only party with 108 number. So governor, as usual, doing the playing the BJP playbook, which we have seen many states. They have killed the democracy. They are trying to do this same in Tamil Nadu also. But Tamil Nadu people will not allow this to happen. There are a lot of media speculation that for the past 2 days going on. That actually there will be a possible AIA-DMK government with the outside support of the DMK. I firmly believe the DMK as a party has an ideological root unless AIA-DMK. And Honorable Chief Minister and DMK President Mr. Anna Stalin has a very long-standing political experience. And someone he known for his ideological stance. I strongly believe DMK should not and will not do this kind of experiment. That will be a historical blunder by DMK because AIA-DMK is being seen by everybody in Tamil Nadu as a mask of BJP. They have compromised Tamil Nadu interests many times to satisfy the BJP leadership, Mr. Amit Shah and Mr. Modi. In any form, the AIA-DMK government is a BJP government. Tamil Nadu is fighting against the BJP, either Congress, the DMK, VCK, left parties, and we are fighting against the BJP and its ideology. How come we can support the government?
Ma'am, are you suggesting that the Congress is the one that's right now fighting the BJP versus your former ally, the DMK, is willing to join hands now with the BJP?
But I don't think DMK will join hands with BJP because they are all ideological enemies like us. What has changed see, you can win or lose the election. That is a part and parcel of democracy. They are also very sorry and feel sad that Chief Minister himself has lost. But despite that, I don't think DMK is a party to compromise on ideology and go and shake hands with BJP. That is very, very unfair. That is a very big ideological compromise. I don't think they afford to take this at this point of time.
No, but ma'am, you know, while you're saying that the DMK has ideals and they won't break those ideals, you've got the DMK constantly attacking the Congress for exactly that, saying that you have no principles, you betrayed the DMK the first chance you got at the site of power.
So that's not correct, actually. See, Mr. Vijay has emerged as a single largest party, but he has bit short of numbers. We do have a numbers. We understand that BJP trying to stop him from taking the vote and try to impose the governor role. In such situation, we want to put the Tamil Nadu people interest first rather than our party interest, our alliance interest. Because of the larger interest of the Tamil Nadu, we have done this, and DMK also knows this at their heart. It's not a betrayal. It's a commitment from our party, to the people of Tamil Nadu.
The DMK doesn't seem to think so, ma'am. They're raising a couple of issues. They're saying that during tough times, you chose not to stand with them. They're calling it a betrayal, so much so that they've even questioned why the Congress leadership didn't meet with Mr. Stalin, at least as a goodwill gesture. Because they're saying the 5 Congress MLAs who won is because of the DMK.
See, I personally feel the departure could have been in a better manner. But I would like to tell you that 2011 is the worst election actually DMK has faced because of various reasons. But but very clearly knowing the result, Madam Sonia Gandhi decided to stand by DMK firmly. We were decimated in that election, but we never actually have a grievance against them. Because of them, we lost. We contested election together, we lost. That's it. In 2014, when we were not even prepared to contest alone, the DMK, I think one week before the election, I said actually you move out of the alliance. Then we forced to contest the election, parliament election, without any preparation. In 2016, DMK got a mandate as a single largest party, but not the number is not enough with them. Congress party has given very unconditional support, outside support to DMK. So they also knows the history. We Congress party actually known for its relationship with alliance partners. So this is a very crucial time in the history of Tamil Nadu. We can't let down the people of Tamil Nadu in the name of politics.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, for joining us. Thank you for sharing your views and for being rather candid on what you think is playing out right now, and the fact that DMK has been constantly attacking you, but the Congress is saying that we believe that better sense will prevail, the DMK will not fall into what they're referring to as a BJP trap. That's Congress MP Jyothimani speaking to India Today, saying that at this point, this will be a betrayal of the people's mandate if we actually see that DMK alliance happening. But let's get you more reactions from the Congress on what's playing out right now and the fact that the TVK and the Congress together don't have the numbers. We spoke to the Tamil Nadu Congress in charge, Girish Chodankar. Listen in.
Governor has to call TVK to form the government. Governor has no other option. Governor cannot invite anybody else because the single largest party has to be invited. If single largest party fails to prove the majority, then only he can exploit other options.
In your speech right now, you said like various other parties are coming together and you actually cautioned the people. Are you talking about alleged talks between DMK and AIDMK?
People of Tamil Nadu are very, very, very intelligent. They are understanding what is going on, who is real communal forces, who are real secular forces. Everything will be exposed in coming days.
Are you claiming that there is a speech between DMK and AIDMK happening?
People of Tamil Nadu
I don't want to take the names.
Everything. People of Tamil Nadu understand everything what is going on in Tamil Nadu to manipulate their mandate. Nobody should manipulate the mandate of the public.
Sir, I'm sorry to ask you this, but DMK is calling you as backstabbers. Do you want to respond to this?
We cannot be the backstabbers of the people. The people have got a mandate. We have respected the public. The people are the masters in a democracy. And mandate of the public should be always respected. This is above everything.
It is above everything, but you actually contested with DMK and you got the mandate of 5 over there even after demanding 28 seats. What do you want to say about that?
See, in a democracy, people's mandate is supreme. Everyone should respect it above their loyalty to anything, above petty politics.
How confident are you going to be with VCK, CPI support and forming the government with TVK right now, sir?
They have always fought against RSS ideology. They have fought against BJP ideology. I am confident that they will rise above everything and come and support the secular forces.
How confident are you going to be with VCK, CPI support and forming the government with TVK right now, sir?
They have always fought against RSS ideology. They have fought against BJP ideology. I am confident that they will rise above everything and come and support the secular forces.
DMK is calling you as backstabbers. Do you want to respond to this?
We cannot be the backstabbers of the people. The people have got a mandate. We have respected the public. The people are the masters in a democracy. And mandate of the public should be always respected. This is above everything.
It is above everything, but you actually contested with DMK and you got the mandate of 5 over there even after demanding 28 seats. What do you want to say about that?
See, in a democracy, people's mandate is supreme. Everyone should respect it above their loyalty to anything, above.
So let's explain to you what's played out act by act, scene by scene, since the lines are blurred right now between films and politics in Tamil Nadu. We've broken it down for you. The first step that helped this current situation evolve into what it is, that the TVK leaders first contacted AIADMK for talks. And this was back-channel dialogue that took place. AIADMK said, okay, sure, we're ready for dialogue, we're ready for talks. What do we see on the table here? There was no conversation, however, from Vijay. Vijay didn't reach out personally. A TVK leader, Arun Raj, reportedly was tasked with the responsibility. And then suddenly TVK went cold. There was no communication whatsoever with the AIADMK, and that's where it ended. Suddenly the trail went cold and the AIADMK said, look, it looks like the TVK doesn't want our support. Let's take you then to scene 2, act 2, where the biggest arch rivals for as long as we've known, DMK versus AIADMK, that script could flip over. The BJP reportedly is involved here. The BJP doesn't want Congress to come to power, and therefore BJP was pushing for DMK AIADMK talks. They made that first push, and since then there has been in fact a communication channel that's been opened up between the DMK and AIADMK. What's in it for the DMK? That's Act 3. Essentially, DMK is a jilted brother right now. You've got the DMK angry that at the first chance the Congress dumped them and chose the TVK. And it's almost as if the DMK wants to teach the Congress a lesson, but they do have their own reservations. Ideology and the fact that they are complete rivals, the BJP element in it, so the DMK is still skeptical. The idea has been discussed, but reportedly the DMK first family of Stalin and Kanimori are against it. So they are the ones who need convincing right now. And final act, the kingmakers. Imagine, who would have thought small parties like the VCK and the left are the ones who are going to be calling the shots right now in Tamil Nadu. But that's what's happening right now. VCK and left parties who've been with the DMK at this point are waiting. They're saying till DMK gives us the nod, till Stalin gives us the nod, we're not switching over. And so there are questions about whether then even if they join the TVK, they'll act at the behest of the DMK. And that's what the TVK is currently wary of. That this could happen, that the VCK, while consulting Stalin, could then therefore constantly go ahead and push Stalin's agenda in the alliance as well. But the TVK at this point doesn't have a chance. Pramod Madhav is joining us with more details. We've got Anaga Keshav, Apurva Jayachandran and Sagai Raj with us. Pramod, what are the chances really of the TVK saying, look, if you don't get the numbers, we'll have to go with the AIADMK? This was something that was discussed initially, but with all of this talk now of a DMK-AIADMK alliance, is that option of a TVK-AIADMK alliance still on the cards or something that's impossible now?
Well, Akshita, it looks like that particular possibility is diminishing a bit. And considering that there is actually a chance, Akshita, we are not trying to bring out all the information that are supposed to be kept as secret. But if TVK actually gives an exit to Congress, there are high chances that AIADMK can enter, and all these kind of like confusion would completely be removed off. Because like now, considering that Congress is within TVK seems to be one of the biggest problems for TVK right now. And if AIADMK needs to enter, it means that Congress will have to exit from the spot. And if that happens, immediately that particular scenario and the scenario that we already discussed about 2 days ago can definitely happen. But that itself, speaking this itself will cause no problem for Congress, and we'll be definitely targeted for that. But this seems to be the only possibility: Congress exiting and AIADMK entering, Akshita.
Yeah, you're right. That's the only possibility as it could play out right now. If the situation remains as is, we're going to see essentially the TVK then have to dump the Congress, and the Congress is left completely in the lurch. But Sagai, as you track Vijay right now, we understand Vijay is meeting with his TVK MLAs. Is this something that they're considering? Because right now, if you see the scenarios that are playing out, there's no plan B for Vijay whatsoever. So either the VCK and left are on board or nothing.
Absolutely. It all depends upon the decision of VCK and CPI parties. And he is waiting for the outcome of that particular meeting, which will happen this evening. And apart from that, he have no other options. But he is watching closely whatever the development which is happening, whether it is AIADMK faction or DMK faction. So he is observing closely. And if you notice, yesterday Arun Raj, who was a former IRS officer and who is also one of the core member of TVK team, he has hit out at AIADMK and DMK, stating that people are watching, if at all, if this this unprecedented alliance comes forward and forms the government in the state of Tamil Nadu. So they are watching everything, and they are also having back channel talks, especially Sengotian, who is also trying to convince AIADMK. The bigger question is, will Tamil Nadu becomes another Maharashtra? A similar kind of situation in Maharashtra when Shiv Sena and BJP, will that situation come to Tamil Nadu is a bigger question.
Who knows? You know, at this point, anything is possible. And that's very clear in the fact that we're even talking about the possibility of a DMK-AIA-DMK alliance as well. Quickly an answer from Apurva as well before I get in more elements on this particular broadcast. Apurva, on the AIA-DMK right now, those MLAs remain cooped up in Puducherry.
Yeah.
But all eyes are on EPS to see what kind of a deal he really cracks here. The AIA-DMK and EPS are not out of the game completely. They may be at the number 3 position, but he seems to be figuring out every possible way to be in power right now in Tamil Nadu. And after Apurva, we'll get that particular reaction from Thambidurai as well. Shocking one where he says the sentiment of the people are with the AIA-DMK. But Apurva, go ahead.
Well, in fact, EPS is not holding out, every possibility, all possible permutations and computations are being calculated by Edappadi K. Palaniswamy. Even yesterday, the sole reason why he travelled all the way from Chennai to Puducherry to meet with these MLAs, the 25 plus MLAs who are currently right, out behind me in this very own resort there, he has gone ahead and very categorically stated to them, be calm, remain, maintain resilience is what he has said. And that instruction, he says, with the afterthought saying, good news will come to us in a couple of days. All you need to do is just wait for 2 to 3 days and then we will hear good news is what EPS has instructed these MLAs as well. And you also see Thambidurai there who is going ahead and saying EPS will make, have the majority. He will go ahead and form the government with whatever hook or crook means necessary is what Thambidurai has also gone ahead and stated. But MLAs here are also quite confident that EPS might just be able to pull it off, Akshita. But it's very interesting to see why they have this kind of a confidence. There's a calmness in their voice when they go ahead and say it's Edappadi Palaniswamy. He has already managed to pull out, several rabbits out of the hat. You think that this is nothing that he can't yet again go ahead and, make into a reality. So let's wait for 2-3 days and we'll see that EPS and AIA-DMK definitely will go ahead and give not only the majority, if TVK needs that majority, yet again, EPS had stressed on the same thing, which is that TVK needs to approach Edappadi
that's chilling right now, including us reporters. We're out here in the sun, in the heat, 24/7, tracking all the updates. Guess who's enjoying and chilling and living their best lives? These MLAs right there who Apurva is tracking in Puducherry, living in a resort, just on wait and watch mode. All they have to do is ensure they don't pick up any calls from the rival sides. Otherwise, they get to enjoy the pools, the massages, and whatnot. Luxury lifestyle. This is the best time for them of the year. Resort politics are underway. But Apurva, stay with me. Let's play out that reaction from Thambidurai of the AIA-DMK, who says, believe it or not, that the mandate is with them, that the people want AIA-DMK to return to power. I'll highlight, they're number 3 in this election. Listen it.
There is the public sentiment is there that AIADMK has to come to the power. That is the voters at the time whenever my party leader Edappadi visited, lot of emotion and everything public showed. That we are expecting that may happen due course of time with God's grace.
Okay, now you've got another statement from Congress that's portraying Rahul and Vijay as Krishna and Arjuna. Rahul Gandhi is Krishna, Vijay is Arjuna. This is how the Congress is portraying what's happening right now, with a post that says, "Will Dharma win?" Close companions, Krishna and Arjuna, is how they've showed them, and Prime Minister Modi as the arch rival, as the nemesis to beat. This is the messaging that the Congress is involving in at a time when you're now seeing posters cropping up across. Posters showing Rahul Gandhi and Vijay together. What would otherwise have been the norm was Rahul Gandhi and Stalin, where they went ahead and called each other brothers and whatnot. Here now, the relationship is a little different. The comparison is a little different. The comparison is of Krishna and Arjuna. That is the messaging involved here. Anaka Keshav is joining us with more on this. Anaka, the Congress is doing everything they can right now to justify, defend the tie-up with the TVK, especially at a time when they're facing brickbats, not just from the DMK, but nationally, with the likes of even Akhilesh Yadav calling them out now.
In fact, a lot of DMK leaders have also thanked Akhilesh Yadav for the kind of support that he has shown. DMK has called Congress as backstabbers, which the Congress perceives is a bit harsh on them. And now we see the sticker. Congress releasing a post with Rahul Gandhi and Vijay as Krishna and Arjuna. Remember, when Rahul Gandhi was here, he did not share a stage with Stalin. He was here twice, and both the times he did not share a stage with the then Chief Minister Stalin. And that raised a lot of questions about the fraying in relationship. In fact, even yesterday when DMK held that internal party meeting, they passed a resolution and even expressed their disappointment about how Congress didn't even give them a courtesy call. IUML, VCK, the left parties, every single alliance partner gave that courtesy call to Stalin after that rout, but except Congress. And that has raised a lot of questions about why is it that there was not even a courtesy call. You could leave us, but why didn't you even inform us? Don't we at least deserve that?
And Anaka, stay on with me as we get those details in. Let me also tell you about how right now the India bloc's unity is under question. Cracks within the opposition alliance are beginning to surface openly. You've got the Samajwadi Party chief, and this is what I was referring to earlier, the SP chief Akhilesh Yadav sharing photographs with Mamata Banerjee as well as with MK Stalin. And what's the message the SP, the Samajwadi Party, is putting forth? He's captioned that particular post of the picture with MK Stalin as "We never abandon each other in difficult times." That's the message essentially that Akhilesh Yadav has put forth. And that remark comes at a time when, of course, the Congress has chosen to walk out of the alliance with the DMK in Tamil Nadu, joined hands with the TVK. And that's getting them now brickbats from across at this point. Akhilesh Yadav lashing out at Congress. And so the question is whether the SP will also turn around and tell the Congress, how can we trust you at this point, looking at this current situation of how you've dumped the DMK at the first instance that you've got. As we track all the latest updates on these reactions, I also want to give you a sense of the mood currently on ground. What is happening here in Tamil Nadu? There's a sense of restlessness. Emotions are running high in Chennai, and we've seen attempts of protests. Congress is staging a protest. Vijay fans are now hitting the streets. I'm here at the Lok Bhavan, where there have been 2 incidents of fans attempting to reach the Lok Bhavan, stage their protest with TVK flags saying what's happening with Vijay is unfair. Similarly, at Vijay's residence too, groups of fans coming together chanting slogans in support of Vijay. Gives you a sense of the restlessness that's now settling in amid these delays. Take a look at these reports. Drama here outside the Lok Bhavan, where one more TVK supporter has landed up in an auto with the TVK flag, raising slogans immediately being taken away by the cops. This is the second such incident that's taken place here at the Lok Bhavan. A prohibited area, protest not allowed here, high security zone, emotions running high. At Vijay's residence and here at the Lok Bhavan, you've got one incident after another of Vijay fans, TVK members coming here to protest, trying to protest, demanding and asking questions right now of why why Vijay is not being sworn in as the chief minister. And so now you're seeing slowly protests taking place across Tamil Nadu. Vijay fans coming together one after another, attempting to stage sit-in protests here at the Lok Bhavan. With video journalist Daniel, this is Akshata Nandagopal in Chennai for India Today. So you can see that the TVK member is saying, I will sit here on protest. The cops are stopping him from going forward right now. The cops are pushing him away as he continues to try to make his way to Lok Bhavan and continue his agitation. He is now being detained, as you can see here, as he continues to chant slogans there. The cops are trying hard to control him. He's crying conspiracy as he's being detained here outside the Lok Bhavan. He's refusing to budge. The cops are trying hard to push him into the auto and detain him. He's refusing to cooperate, continuing to maintain that this is a conspiracy and that he'll stage a sit-in protest outside the Lok Bhavan. Quite a bit of drama that's playing out here at the Lok Bhavan. You've seen essentially the Congress announcing that they will stage a protest, but at this point, none of them are being allowed anywhere close. This entire area has been barricaded off. One TVK member there managed to break right through, came right up to the gate of the Lok Bhavan. He had with him a placard that says Talapati Vijay must be made the chief minister. The governor is being unfair. Held up a TVK flag. None of that is allowed, by the way, anywhere close to the Lok Bhavan. So immediately he's been whisked away, taken into custody, detained.
We are joined with the people who have come all the way from Singapore. They voted for Vijay and they were supposed to leave on May 2nd. However, they stayed back, saying that they will see the result. Let us see the Vijay taking vote, and after that they leave here. So where are you from and why are you waiting all this while?
We are coming from Singapore. We are all the way coming from Singapore to vote for Talapati Vijay. Now we are waiting for Talapati Vijay to become a CM.
Okay, you will not leave Tamil Nadu unless he takes vote?
Yes. We are eagerly waiting until he becomes CM. Then only we leave from Tamil Nadu.
Are you a big fan of Vijay?
Yes.
Okay. You also came here to see him.
Yeah.
I saw you people clicking pictures, selfies here. Okay, ma'am, you were telling something.
Sorry.
You said that you came here to vote. You were supposed to leave on 2nd. What exactly transpired?
நாங்கள் சாரை சிஎம்மாக பார்க்கணுன்ட்டு தான் வெயிட் பண்ணிகிட்ருக்கோம் ஈகராக. அதனால தான் டிக்கெட்டும் மாற்றி போட்டாங்க. அதுக்கு சிஎம் ஆகணும்னு ரொம்ப ஆசையாக இருக்குது. பார்த்துட்டு தான் போவோம் நாங்கள் கண்டிப்பாக சிங்கப்பூருக்கு.
Okay. So they are saying that they will not leave Tamil Nadu unless they see Vijay as the chief minister of Tamil Nadu, and thereafter they will go back to Singapore.
Now, so many questions doing the rounds on why this delay in Vijay forming the government. And that's all courtesy the governor, Arlekar. I'm standing here at the Lok Bhavan and so many questions being asked of the governor. You can see that the visible anger also of all the fans is that there's a conspiracy afoot and that the governor is involved in that conspiracy. But is that really the case? Does the governor and has the governor failed in his duty by refusing to allow Vijay to form a minority government? What is the past precedence? What does the law say? Rajdeep Sardesai spoke with Harish Salve. Listen in.
Mr. Salve, what's your view? Do you believe that the Tamil Nadu governor should wait for letters of support before inviting Vijay to become chief minister or swear him in? Or should he go by the fact that he is the single largest party?
Rajdeep, since you're an old friend, I can tease you. If you ask the wrong question, you get to the wrong answer.
Mm-hmm.
The question which I'm asking myself is that if the governor has asked for letters of support before giving him a break or giving him a chance to form the government, has he acted unconstitutionally? The answer is no. What the governor should do is in his wisdom. Should the governor have straightaway allowed him to form a government? Maybe, maybe not. Should the governor, what the governor can't do, I can tell you clearly. The governor has rightly not invited the AIDMK or the DMK to form the government, rightly. The governor has not, hopefully, because I don't know what he has asked Mr. Vijay to do, the governor cannot conduct a floor test on the floor of the Raj Bhavan. A floor test can only be on the floor of the assembly. Now, between these two, the governor has to satisfy himself that there is a reasonable prospect of the government which is being sworn in to enjoy the confidence of the House. How a governor satisfies himself, unless he's acting in an extraordinary fashion, has to be left to the governor. So if the governor says, I would want to see something more than just bold assertions. I'm not happy with the fact that your first supporter actually fought the election against you and as an ally of another party. Maybe they can support you. I want something in writing. Some other groups are saying they will support you. Get something in writing. Yeah, I don't know. I wish I was a fly on the wall. I wish you were a fly on the wall.
Sir, but the reason I'm asking you, governors have taken different stands in different situations. In Karnataka, Mr. Yediyurappa was allowed to form a government without having to show the numbers. There have been other cases where governors or presidents have asked for letters of support to Mr. Vajpayee. Are you saying there is no standard principle? Because now what you could do, you could keep it pending and tomorrow give enough time to the DMK and AIDMK to cobble together a government.
See, this is where we, as a student of constitutional law, this is where we say your action, if it is bona fide, can be one of many choices. What Mr. Vajpayee was asked to do was a valid exercise of constitutional power. Bring me letters. Maybe in the circumstances, Yediyurappa being invited to form the government was a valid exercise of power. Both are valid. But if you are deliberately delaying so that some other group can cobble together and defeat the single largest party, your action will be judged as being mala fide.
So you've heard there from Mr. Salve, who suggests that yes, the governor has the discretion to be able to go ahead and look at whether someone can provide a stable government or not. And it's on that ground that Vijay at this point has been denied the opportunity to form the government by Governor R.K. Kharu. Says, come to me with 118 signatures. Why doesn't he have those signatures? What's the current number game looking like? I'm handing it over to my colleague Maria Shakil in the studio.
The superstar who shattered Tamil Nadu's political order with a historic debut mandate is now facing the toughest test of his political career, repeatedly being asked by the governor a simple question: where are the numbers? Actor Vijay walked into Raj Bhavan after emerging as the single largest force in the assembly. But despite the wave, despite breaking the Dravidian duopoly, Governor Arlikar has not yet invited him to form the government. And he is insisting that Vijay should give proof of majority support. Remember, actor Vijay contested from two constituencies, Perambur and Trichy East. And under the election law, he can retain only one seat, which means TVK's tally effectively drops from 108 to 107 once he vacates one constituency, with Trichy East likely to be the seat he gives up. That immediately changes the numbers. So the present number is this, 112. How did he arrive at 112? Because it is 107 of the TVK and 5 Congress MLAs supporting actor Vijay. He is still short of the majority mark, which is where Vijay's political contradictions collide with political necessity. Because before the election, at his Madurai rally, Vijay drew his battle lines very clearly. He said that the BJP was TVK's ideological enemy and the DMK the political enemy. But the arithmetic of power, they say, has a way of rewriting political certainties. The first route that is available for Vijay is what many are calling the secular crossovers. If parties like the CPI, CPIM, VCK and IUML walk away from DMK and support Vijay, TVK crosses the majority mark comfortably. Politically, this is Vijay's cleanest option. These parties are not ideologically tied to MK Stalin, and Vijay's anti-BJP positioning gives them enough political cover to support him. And constitutionally too, this route is relatively safe. Entire party shifting alliance do not trigger any anti-defection penalty. But Stalin will fight to prevent that exodus, because the moment allies begin drifting towards Vijay, the message is devastating for the DMK. The second possibility is far more dramatic, an AIA-DMK rebellion. And at the center of these conversations is C.V. Shanmugam, former law minister, presently Rajya Sabha MP, and one of the AIA-DMK's most influential strategists. Nearly 35 AIA-DMK MLAs reportedly gathered at his Chennai office this week to discuss support for Vijay. Significantly, the Palaniswamy camp cancelled its own MLA meeting at the last minute, fueling speculation of internal cracks. And now adding to the political intrigue, a large group of AIA-DMK MLAs are believed to be stationed at a resort in Puducherry. The kind of resort politics India has seen many times before when governments hang in the balance. Now the constitutional math matters here because AIA-DMK has 47 MLAs, 2/3 comes to 32. If 32 legislators break away, together, they are protected under the anti-defection law. That instantly takes Vijay past the majority mark. But there is a political condition attached. Congress must go. The rebels reportedly want no Congress role in a Vijay-led government or arrangement, which means Vijay would have to choose between ideological consistency and political survival. And then comes the third route, the quietest but perhaps the most strategic, which is abstention, something that we have seen in multiple flow tests across the country, because governments are decided not by the total strength of the assembly, but by the members present in the assembly at the time of voting. If the DMK alliance simply stays absent during the flow test, the effective strength of the House falls sharply. In that situation, Vijay's 112, because he has already got support of 5 MLAs of the Congress party, becomes enough to survive comfortably. And politically, Stalin may calculate that being seen as the man who blocked government formation is costlier than allowing Vijay to take office and face the pressures of governance himself. Abstention would not be surrender, it would be seen as strategy. So the governor wants numbers, and Vijay has 3 possible ways to produce them: a secular realignment, an AIA-DMK split, or silent cooperation from a weakened DMK.
So it's challenging, yes, for the TVK, for Vijay to get those numbers, but ultimately in a few hours from now, we'll have all the answers to those questions plaguing Tamil Nadu on whether Vijay will get the numbers. The mandate is in, the numbers he doesn't have on his side just yet. So much so that the likes of VCK and left, who'd have thought, are now the kingmakers in this current situation. The Congress ditching the DMK, joining hands with the TVK. Something, again, nobody would have assumed could ever happen considering the decades-long friendship, not just between the DMK and the Congress, but also between Stalin and Rahul Gandhi. All of that eroded the moment TVK won. So that alliance is a big shift. The possibility, even the mere discussion of a AIA-DMK alliance is shocking by itself. And the possibility of that happening because of a Vijay being the single largest party. You can see how the mandate for Vijay has really rocked Tamil Nadu and reshaped, refined everything we know of the political landscape in the state. Let's break that down for you in this report. I'm leaving you with this one. Thanks so much for tuning into this edition of So South.
Two years after its launch, TVK has pulled off a political coup in Tamil Nadu. Vijay's party is now the single largest force in the state. But with 108 seats, it still falls short of majority. And that's where the 2029 game begins. Vijay's rise is no longer just about forming a government in 2026. It is already reshaping alliance politics for 2029. The Congress has extended support to TVK not just for government formation, but even for the future Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha elections. A huge signal from a party that has stood with the DMK for decades. The calculation is simple. Vijay brings massive popularity, youth connect, and a loyal fan army that could reshape the opposition space in 2029. And Congress isn't alone. VCK and CPI are also considering support to TVK, with parties keen to be on Vijay's side ahead of the next national polls. Then comes the AIA-DMK twist. As TVK tries to prove majority, over 25 AIA-DMK rebels have reportedly gone rogue, pushing the party to support Vijay or risk a split. Because the numbers tell the story. With Congress support alone, TVK still remains short of a comfortable majority, making the government vulnerable, the concern flagged by the governor. But if AIA-DMK joins hands with TVK, the number becomes stable overnight. Which raises the big political question. Is the governor's tough stand also aimed at preventing a Congress-TVK axis ahead of 2029? Vijay has already positioned BJP as his ideological rival and DMK as his direct political opponent in Tamil Nadu. And with the governor face-off, helping build an image of a leader refusing to bow under pressure, the first political narrative of the Talapati era may already be taking shape. What began as a government formation battle is quickly turning into a high-stakes fight over who will lead Tamil Nadu's opposition politics in 2029. Bureau Report, India Today.